Greetings, everyone out there. Welcome to the first edition of Untitled Discussion. I'm your host, TJ Evans, and along with me, I have Chris, Eric Quest, D. Today, we're going to be talking about what's going on in the black community, specifically what's going on with black males, the problems that we're having, and solutions to fix those problems. So, let's start. What do y'all see in the community going on right now? Statistic-wise, since 1964, incarceration is still around the same percent. It's 34%. Arrests, though, we're at 28%, but we're 13% of the population. 7% black males, actually. So, what's some problems that y'all feel that we're actually going through?
See, I feel what you're saying on that, but I always like to put that mirror on self, man. I just always got to figure out, like, what are we doing? And I feel like, shit, black folks scared of black folks. Black males are scared of black males. When you enter a room, Southern hospitality was always speak, hey, what's going on? We don't do that no more, like, at all.
So what destroyed that? What broke that?
Well, in my opinion, I would say that it will be the breaking down of the house, of the structure, the family structure.
Yeah,
that's first and foremost. Without that, without your elders teaching you how to respect, how to love, how to treat each other, and taking that into the world, what do you have to give? You no one's taught you how to walk in a room and speak to everybody. No one's taught you how to do those basic things that we learned, that we take for granted, the reality.
True.
Now, as far as the black community is concerned, that's a big problem with our community. Us as males, I feel like my generation, because like you said, I point the mirror at myself. And I feel like our generation has dropped the ball a lot because we are supposed to be the leaders of our community. We was raised to be leaders and we got blinded by the glitz and glamour of society. Yeah. The want for the American dream, the white picket fence, the two cars, 3 kids and a dog.
Thanks.
I mean, and that blinded you. Then you start putting in a little bit of the glitz in there. Everybody wants to be famous. They want that 15 seconds of fame.
I think they skipped the family part and went straight to the glitz. They didn't want the picket fence no more. They just said, you know what, let's get this jewelry and stuff.
Because the jury's gonna last longer for some reason, and I'm not saying that because
also what I feel as though what destroyed it, like you said, was the breakdown of the family structure. Because at that point in time, I want to say like in the '60s. They made it mandatory for the man to go off to war.
Well,
so with that being said, that left the woman and kids at home.
And also in the '60s, the Civil Rights Act, which brought in the Welfare Act.
Bingo.
Government help.
Bingo. So government help. So that ergo, divorce rate started going through the roof. Okay, now that you're divorced, okay, now you can get on this government assistance, but because you're on this government assistance, the man can't be in the house. It's only for the mother and the child. So
that's ugly.
There goes that father figure. There goes that role model. There goes that, especially the young boys. There goes that sternness, because now you have this mother trying to raise this man, and she can't. She's only do 2 jobs. Right, she's working 2 or 3 jobs to maintain, and she can only do just so much. Yeah. But other than that, she can't teach him how to be a man, and then next thing you know, who do we look for? We have that outside influence. Ergo, move to the 80s, you have the huge crack epidemic.
Yep.
And there's the big homie out there making money. But what I can say though is, back then, although they were out there, dealing drugs, trying to do what they do to maintain and do for self and also their family, they also made sure, like, hey, little man, no, this ain't for you. Take your ass to school.
It was a community thing.
It was a community thing. And, they made sure, no, take your ass to school. Hey, you need lunch money? Here you go.
And then the kids had gangster rap.
Right. And then that's but not necessarily to blame it directly on music, but, boom, here goes the gangster rap. Here goes Carlito's Way.
Yeah, the movie Scarface.
Right, Scarface
messed up everything.
We seeing all of this is like, yo, I want what he got. Like, because he doing this, he got clothes, he got the women, all the money.
I mean, but we still saw that growing up. We still
Very
saw the dude with the gold and the money and the cars and the women and the houses and everything. But there was still some guidance. There was always the big homie, the elder, even in the streets, that gave you the list of rules. Gave you the things that you do, the things that you don't do, and to always first take care of home. And home was not necessarily just your house. Home was where you went to school, where you played, where you shopped. That was home. I grew up, like we all know, I grew up in Adamsville. When I came up in the hood, it was home. You couldn't come to Adamsville, to the flats, with any kind of nonsense, or you will get escorted out. One way or another, it was always about that. And even like when we talked about us, the neighborhood beefs and stuff, it was a West Side thing. We might have had beef with Bankhead, we might have had beef with SWATs, we had beef with whoever, but at the end of the day, if you come on our side with that, all our stuff was internal. We dealt with it, but don't come over here with it. You know what I'm saying? It was always that community thing, where even to this day, I have family, I have friends that I would call my brothers that are from not just Adamsville, they're from Bankhead, they're from Ben Hill, they're from East Point. We look at each other as brothers, regardless of whatever scraps we had to go through between each other. Me and him may have problems, but our problems ain't your problem.
Right.
So don't input your problems into ours, because we gonna take care of you and then get back to each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was how we grew up. It was still the essence of a family. It was still the essence of a neighborhood. It was the community. I still had my assistant principal that stayed 3 houses up from me, and if I got in trouble in high school, I didn't go to ISS. I had to come home and cut his grass. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was a neighborhood. If I cut school, I had to pass by Mr. Haddock's house. I had to pass by Mr. Menifee, who started Swaybo. I had to pass by all of these places just to go and misbehave.
Male role models.
And male role models and
instill things in you.
Exactly.
So a man still gonna need to take care of his community, his family.
Exactly.
That's why a man is there to be the teacher.
Exactly.
And to basically expound on that, we actually had a village. So, like you said, if you outside playing and you 2-3 streets over, you get into a fight. Hey, but I know your mom. I'm finna call your mom. And the parents just, okay, so you over so and so out acting a fool.
So with that being said,
you got a whooping there.
Yep.
And by the time you got home, you got another.
Your mama gave them permission to whoop you.
Right.
Why did that stop though? Because now if you speak to a child, they parent want to fight your ass, and I'm like, baby, your kid bad as hell.
Part of it is society changing.
Yeah.
When they started back in the 90s, I want to say, where it was frowned upon to put your hands on somebody else's child. They started that. They removed prayer out of schools. Late 90s, you couldn't put your hands on the child. You couldn't discipline the kids in school. I'm not talking about the neighborhoods. This was in school, where I remember elementary school, you got your hand popped by your teacher, and if you got sent to the principal's office, you probably got your butt popped by the principal while you sat and wait for your mama to come.
And then got a whipping right there. Right. And then you got a whipping right there.
Exactly. I mean, they outlawed it basically. They basically told you can't discipline your child.
Honestly, I feel like it's pretty much outlawing Christian morals.
Yeah.
Like,
spare rod and spoil the child.
Like, family is made up of a man and a woman raising their child, because man and woman is supposed to train up their child the way they should go. And especially like me, I think also an issue is the younger the parents are getting now.
Yeah.
Like they're not even mature enough to raise a child, but yet they're having babies and they still have that childish mentality. And they're instilling in their times I heard parents just cuss out their kids.
That's where it changed. The age of having a kid.
Yeah. I don't think it's so much of the age as opposed to maturity level. Because our parents and grandparents, I mean, that's part of the age, but you think about it, our parents and grandparents, our grandparents more so than maybe our parents, did have children young.
Yeah.
Because families were started young. But the maturity level, families were started young, but the maturity level was there. first. The maturity level of, you know, at 12, 14 years old, you went to school. Hate to say it because I'm going to sound like my grandpa and my uncles, but they went to school, and then they went out to school, they went and worked in the yard, and they did everything else, and they went down the street to the store, and they came back, and they had responsibilities. You had responsibilities growing up, which responsibilities teach you how to be an adult. It teaches you how to have ownership.
Part of looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Have responsibility and accountability for oneself, not blaming the whole world for your problem.
Right.
That's an issue. Because everybody wants to blame everybody else when you did it.
Like,
Bingo.
it was your decision. It was your
At the end of the
decision.
day, like I'm
Like,
sorry.
many times I got arrested, went to jail. A lot of times it was my fault. I can't blame the man because I still don't know who the man is, and I can't blame him. it was me who did it.
Yeah,
Bingo.
the man didn't tell you to go out there and bust that dude upside the head. The man didn't tell you to go out there and sell that last little bit because you needed to get that last little bit off when you could have threw it away.
You made that choice.
You made the choice. When that spirit on your shoulder, because regardless of how you want to look at it, that other thing, that something in my head, that conscience, that whatever you want to call it, I call it my Holy Spirit. When my spirit used to tell me, bro, you've been out here long enough, it's time to go in the house. And I listened. I was in the house safe. I got a phone call. Hey, bro, you left just in time because blah, 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 blah. Oh, for real?
Good decision. Decision
making, it's time to go, but now that greed kick in and man, let me get this last little bit. Let me get this. I just want to get this off because I want to, man, walk away.
So how do you listen to that voice? Like, how do you teach others? Like, damn.
But that goes back to what we were saying though. When you grow up, when you raise your children in the way that you would have them to go, your children are, y'all know I got kids. My boys are grown. But we had to raise them, and it was literally a family. I'm being honest. I wasn't 100% there. I was up here trying to live my life and trying to build for my sons. But I had a family that helped raise my kids, and we pointed them in the direction that they needed to go, and they are doing great. But we did it. Yeah. It wasn't me. It wasn't him. It was we.
You gotta think like you have to instill in your children values and morals more than just get this money.
Right.
Because that's what we do as a community now. We just tell you that you're supposed to be rich. Like even the people in certain communities that says that they're spiritual and this, that, and anything, whatever they want to call it, you can't be a spiritual being and be concerned about getting money on this earth. Because this is temporary.
That part.
So as long as we living just for self and just for the day, people are always going to be greedy. You have to think that I'm not going to be here and the things that I do will affect my future generations. Because that's the thing that the older generations did. They prepared for us in the future.
Right.
Do you know that one of the biggest things, and it's something that people consider to be simple, but one of the biggest mistakes we make as adults is the labels we put on ourselves and our kids. Mm-hmm. When you see your son, your daughter, and you want to call him a little nigga, that's my little thug, that's my little gangster, that's my little G. You put these labels and tags on these kids, and they don't even know what it is, but you're putting those on them.
And women do up that way. Women do, he's going to be a player, he's going to be a heartbreaker. And then y'all get your heart broken by a man.
Your dad.
Like,
how was my dad?
He ain't even seen him. And the only way that I see how my dad really is he's a dog evidently. He's whatever. So you telling me that this is how I'm supposed to be. How about you start telling your kids, you start raising them up, you're my soldier. You're my king. You're the next prince. You plant the seeds of success in them, and then you see how they grow and develop. But you sitting there look at auntie, grandma sitting there look at the granddaughter looking like a little fat with a little dress on. Look how she dancing.
Yeah,
how about you pull her to the side instead of talking about her?
Right. Just dogging out, bad mouth.
I mean, family. It's complete division within the family.
That is true.
That's why we need to we need to make a way for the black man to be a black man, to be a man. Like, go talk to your kids. Stop putting up fences and barriers. Like, issue with men faced with child support. A lot of men, they want to see their kids.
That is true.
I know a lot of men who want to see their kids.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of women, they put up hurdles for them to see their kids.
True.
And even when they do see their kids, it's not even for the amount of time the court gave to you. Because they come get them early or they just skip it completely.
You talking about that man, like, the court gave you, like, how do you get the court out of raising your family? Like, that's crazy.
Never let them in.
No.
Honestly, bro, that is the only way. For the simple fact is, and the crazy part about it is, if you're not married, the minute that child is born, you have no right to that child. Unless you go down to the courts either that day or that week or whatever and automatically get that child legitimized under your name.
Yeah.
At that point, you then have rights to make decisions for that child.
See, I never knew that, and that's crazy.
Now, bingo. Now, that is something they're not going to tell you. Okay, case in point, let's say, okay, you and your girl, y'all had a child. Y'all still together. And let's say 5, 6 years old, you know, the child is 5 or 6, and y'all work up. And all of a sudden now she wants to go take you and put you on child support. So, you know, you get a lawyer and the lawyer asks you, hey, you know, have you legitimized your child? You say no. You go to try and legitimize your child, first thing the court is going to say, well, why you wait till the child's 6 years old? Well, first of all, we've been together this entire time. I didn't think about getting the child legitimized. One, again, ergo, I didn't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that in return is going to cost more money, which means you have to go to court again for that just to get the child legitimized.
Mm-hmm.
And by doing that at such a late age, the judge again is also going to look at you as, okay, well, why you decided to come and do this now? Where have you been the first 6 years? We've been together these 6 years. I've been in my child's life. She just decided to put me on child support because we're no longer together. See what I'm saying? So at that point, again, it goes back to making it hard for the man to actually be in the house to be that role model.
Mm-hmm.
Because the judge is going to make you feel this big. Although you've been taking care of your responsibilities for those 6 years while y'all was together. But in the judge's mind, anything that you've bought or done are gifts. That's it. Those are just gifts. So you may have a judge say, okay, you owe back pay for 6 years, depending on how truthful the woman is.
Mm.
Because if she's truthful and say, hey, you know what, you know, he's been there this entire time, we broke up, and I decided to put him on child support because I feel like I need more money. Okay, in that instance, you may be fine because there's no back pay. But the judge will tell you anything that you've done up to this point has all been gifts. Although you've been providing shelter, clothes, and food.
Mm-hmm.
All gifts. Which is crazy. Now, I'm gonna take, you know, my situation for instance, right? So again, I didn't know anything about the whole legitimization part. So when my daughter's mom finally decided to go put me on child support, which she was mad, whatever. And the judge literally tried to throw the book at me, bro. Now, mind you, I don't make nowhere near 6 figures. Judge automatically off the rip, $1,100 a month. I'm like, whoa, wait, hold on, is this back pay?
God damn.
Right, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, wait.
And that goes to her though.
Yeah, this is child support.
But I'm saying the child support goes to
of
her.
course, right. But I'm like, wait, hold on, is this back pay? Well, no, you know, we looked at, you know, what your salary is and what she says she's making. Okay, well, what did she tell you she's making?
Damn.
Oh, she's making $25,000 a year. Really? I said, you know, hey, I'm no mathematician, but $17, $18 an hour clearly equates to about 36, 37, depending on if you're getting overtime, you may hit 38 at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
After taxes.
That's
So,
crazy.
she's not too far off from what I'm making. Well, this is what she put down, and you went with that.
She don't lie.
That part.
She don't lie.
The judge
Believe
again,
all women, man.
right? So the judge then turned around and said, okay, well, if you can prove that you have her on your insurance, you've been paying child care, and you've been doing this, and you've been doing this, then we, you know, we'll think about recalculating. Think about it. Okay. So right then and there, I didn't leave. Okay, well, hey, let me pull up my check stub. Boom. Here's my insurance that comes out every single pay period. This is over $300 some odd coming out every single pay period for insurance. that my daughter is on. I pay this for childcare.
So do they take some of that and
my caseworker in return turned around and she crunched the numbers. She's like, okay, I can get it down to $560. Okay, you know what? I'm tired of coming back and forth to court. Let me sign these papers. I'll do this $560. Y'all might get. And I even asked the judge. I said, okay, Your Honor, let me ask you this question. If I'm paying $1,100 a month for child support, how am I in return supposed to live and also feed and take care of my daughter when she's with me?
Damn.
You're an adult. Figure it out. Really?
Pretty much. I mean, based on your situation and
Right.
part of what my situation.
And on top of that, because you're the non-custodial parent, you are responsible for 80% of the child's well-being, although the child isn't living.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that's a
amazing.
plug for Trojan, bro.
Man,
You know what I'm
what?
saying?
So, like I said, like these are the things that you know what I'm saying, that one, they don't tell us, and the legal system isn't gonna they're not gonna share it with you unless you have that lawyer that's gonna be upfront with you. Say, okay, look, this is what you need to do. Go legitimize your child, because if you wait, it's gonna be worse.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're gonna want to know, okay, well, why did you wait so long? Well, I didn't know. We was together for this amount of time, so I didn't know. Now, the only way for your child to legally be legitimized under your name is if y'all are married. And she has the child.
That's something that need to be talked about.
And once y'all get the divorce, you now have rights to the child because y'all were married when you had the child. So the child is automatically legitimized under your name. So you don't have to go through the process of getting the child legitimized.
Let me ask you this: were you ever contemplating on marrying your girl?
I mean, in the beginning, because I'm like, well, we did it backwards. But, it turned out not to be that way. Now, I can say this, now that we're older, you know what I'm saying? We're friends. We're good co-parents.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? We're good co-parents. We have no issues. And like I said, it had to get to a point to where I was like, okay, hey, I'm on child support, whatever. It is what it is. But that didn't stop me from doing what I've always been doing with my daughter.
Sure.
And that's good. That's good.
Because I want her to know no matter what, Daddy's always been there. Because I'm like, okay, I want her to experience the shit I didn't get a chance to. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And also, I don't want her to experience the shit that I had to experience
Makes
or go through.
Exactly.
My question to you is: how many people, how many brothers, how many young kids are you telling damn, it's real?
I mean, man, any one of them that I see that, that's going through that situation or, like, oh, well, my girl pregnant, I'm like, okay, well, do you see yourself being with her? Because if not, the minute y'all break up, go get the child legitimized. Because you can find the legitimation paperwork online and print it out yourself.
You just fill it out.
Right, fill it out. Now, the only part about that is you have to know the girl's information as well. Name, social, and and or address, depending on where she lives. Now, if you don't know her social, as long as you have her name and address, the court then will in return will send her a summons to come to court. And then from there, you can go through the whole process of getting the child legitimized, and then also with that, like I said, you now have your rights, so you can now set up your visitation. And as long as you have that court document, it's nothing they can do. So if that is your time with the child, there is no come picking them up early. There is no, hey, well, I'm still out of time picking them up late. Hey, I have this court document saying that I'm having them home by 5. You're not here at 5:01, hey, you can call the police. Hey, my child, it's here on my court paperwork saying I'm supposed to drop them off at 5. She's not here. Now, in return to that brings it back to the whole black family, that now puts you at odds. See what I'm saying?
Right.
So it makes you go against each other, which again tears that household apart. Although, like I said, y'all may not be together, but it makes it hard now for you to co-parent. See what I'm saying?
And now the kid sees that.
And bingo. So now the child is now stuck in the middle of, okay, I don't want to upset my mom. I don't want to upset my dad. And you know, like they say, you know, daddy's girls, mama boys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Forcing
the boy is now going, hey, man, that's my mama. Or the daughter is, you know, I want to see my dad.
So now the boy is being raised by the mom.
Bingo.
And
You know what I'm
the
saying?
mom is raising them.
Bingo. And then that's
Certain
ergo.
ways.
Right. And then ergo, that's when you have those conversations of, you know, your dad and shit. Your dad don't want you.
Yeah.
And then that in return has that divide between the father and the son. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, it's all a domino effect, bro, which is crazy. And you know, to go back to the whole child support thing, just to give you an example, I was working for this payroll company, right? So they called in and said, hey, you know, we want to figure out how can we stop garnishments from coming out on bonus checks. So they already put an upcharge on a bonus check, so you know that the employees wouldn't have to pay a tax on it. So whatever your bonus is, that's exactly what you're getting. Versus you saying, hey, you know, you're getting a bonus of $700, but after you get it and it's taxed, you bring home maybe right.
Yeah.
But this one guy, I promise you, no lie, his bonus check was $20,000, bro. $20,000.
And what you do?
That was his bonus. His bonus was $20,000. And I asked her, I said, okay. I said, what garnishment do you have? She said, child support. I said, okay. She was like, yeah. So he only got $790 of that bonus.
You bullshit.
No lie. But back pay. That he was so far in the hole.
Got his ass.
They took damn near $19,000. Well, a little bit over $19,000.
Mm.
See what I'm saying?
That would make me hate my kid. I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to sound like that, but like,
It's not making. It won't make. I won't say it makes you hate your kid, but I will say it puts a very, very, very bad taste in your mouth for that mom.
Yeah.
And if you see where she's misappropriating funds, so to speak, where if it's a daughter, you see your daughter don't have her hair done. When you see her, like if the course just took 19 stacks from me, every time I see her, she better have some fresh braids. I mean, I don't care if I see her 3 times a week. I want to see a different hairstyle.
But
Yeah,
choose the women that you lay with.
Choose that
wise
too.
But at the same time, though,
Contraception is everything.
Right.
Not playing.
Right. But at the same time, though, you know, like I said, it's how the system is designed. The system is designed for us as men to win.
No, they want the woman to be married to the government.
Right.
That
You know
is.
what I'm saying? But again, also at the same time, I look at this as far as child support. Now, for those guys that aren't doing what they need to do, not in the child's life, they're not contributing at all. By all means, find them niggas, put them on child support.
Yeah.
Like suspend their license, lock them niggas up. But for the ones that have been doing but for the ones that has, and then turn around, you know, whatever spat that, you know, he and the mother have, and she turn around, okay, I'm gonna put you on child support. Leave that man alone.
Yeah.
Like he's been doing what he's been doing since day one. They
That's
got
why-
mad and
Choose who you lay
Boom.
with. For the woman too. Choose
Both
who you
men
lay
need work
with.
child.
Bingo.
Because it goes both ways. You
Bingo.
have to, like, people always think that sex is recreational. It wasn't even made for that.
bingo.
But at the same token, going to what you were saying about choosing your woman wisely, all of that still goes back to a broken family.
Yeah.
Because if he said he's made a valid point when we were talking about children and who they associate with, who they tend to align themselves with. Yes, the daughter tends to align herself with the father, and the the son tends to align himself with mom. True, but in essence, each party has their parts to play in each other's rearing of the child.
Yeah.
If I had a daughter, I would say it this way. My niece's picture of a man was established by one of the strongest men that I've ever met in my entire days. Their father was anything that you would want to be, as far as how you talk to your kids, how you raise your kids, how you love your kids, and what type of role model that you set. Because when there's not a man that's in the household, what they fail to mention about that daughter part is, who does she have to mirror as far as what type of man she wants in her life? I mean, because it's going to be either or. It's either going to be she's going to pick a man that's just like her dad, or he's going to be the complete opposite. It's going to be one or the other. Just like you. You're going to pick a woman that's going to be either just like your mom in some way, shape, form, or fashion,
Or the complete opposite.
or the complete opposite, depending on your relationship with your mother.
But what's so
That's
crazy?
how I choose my woman. Like, if you have a dad, I'll talk to you. If you don't have a dad,
But that's, something that's almost in your subconscious, because it's some women that I deal with, and I'm just like, damn, that's some shit my mama say. Like, that's crazy. That I'm just saying, like, that's dope, because it's like it's embedded in you.
Right.
It's embedded in you.
but it's real life though. That's how it's
to
supposed
expand
to
on
be.
that case in point, like I said, with my daughter, and you know, I kind of got choked up a little bit when her mom told me. She said it in front of my daughter, because something happened in school where, you know, we had to sit down and talk to her. You know what I'm saying? And you know, she told her, she was like, you know, remember what you told me about your dad? So I'm looking like, what? She's like, remember what you said? You know how your dad treats you, how you know, he does this. You know, y'all go here. You know, y'all don't eat this, y'all don't eat that. You know, how you said, you know, you want a man like your dad.
That's dope.
And you know what I'm saying? And I thought about it, but then again, I really wasn't thinking about it. And then I had to look at it. I'm like, damn. She's really truly paying attention to what we do, you know, as father-daughter. You know what I'm saying? Because, and I tell folks, you know, not to deter anyone from having a child, depending, you know what I'm saying? No matter if their relationship with the mom is good or bad, because either way it goes, like I said, in the beginning with me and my daughter's mom, shit, it was World War 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, just being honest.
I had a good time.
You know what I'm saying? But
I remember most of them.
but like I said, now that we're older, you know what I'm saying? Me personally, I'm now married. You know, she's off doing her thing, but we co-parent exceptionally well. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I didn't think about it. I was like, damn. Because when we're together, like I said, there is no McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is no Wendy's. We gonna eat. We gonna eat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you know,
that's what she's gonna expect from a man when she get
bingo. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
Nigga trying to take her to me.
Oh yeah, like, what is McDonald's? I have never seen this place.
In front of me, like back when she was 5, I'm like, boo, what we gonna eat? She Red Lobster. We looked at each other like,
Exactly.
you 5.
Let me see what my bank account regular life today. Okay, let's make
But
that happen.
at the same time, I wasn't mad about it. I'm like, she's paying attention. You know what I'm saying? And you know,
Because you're
as far as,
establishing standards.
bingo.
Exactly.
And you know,
Standards are
we have
important.
our father-daughter time when, you know, we literally sitting at the nail shop. She's getting her nails done, and next thing you know, boom, we both sitting in the chair getting our feet did.
But
like I said, that's that.
Say that one more time,
relationship
because some men think that that's not masculine.
Hey, man.
Done.
Keep
Say that
your
one more
feet
time.
big, cause you don't want to be laying in bed cutting up the bed sheets with your woman. I'm just saying.
I don't think men nowadays can say what's masculine or feminine, and they wear purses.
That part.
There's a lot to go with that.
Bingo.
And choker chains and stuff. It'd be like,
Bingo.
word. That's what's up. That's
Bingo.
you got on more jewelry than your woman.
Right.
That's
But at
cool.
the same time, like I said, not to
I just
deter
make sure
you.
she got a lot of jewelry on. Just saying. I like her bracelets.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
But,
that.
you know
Nothing
what I'm
wrong with
saying?
that.
Yeah, not to deter you from having a child, because honestly, bro, that was the best thing for me.
Slowed
You know what I'm saying? Because I looked at life a completely different way. Because it's like, okay, I have this little person. I have to take care of. Can't nobody else take care of. At that time, I didn't know if it was a boy or girl, but like, can't nobody take care of this child but me. Yeah, granted, I have my mom, I have my dad. You know, I got aunties, uncles, but they can't raise my child.
True enough.
Only
They can
I-
help. They can help.
Bingo.
But
They can help.
But they're not
But
the
also-
ones who made it.
Right. But also, what my mom always said, hey, I raised you and your sister, I'm not raising another. I didn't have this baby.
Thus putting responsibility.
Bingo.
And
But-
catalyst.
Right.
What?
But again, I also had that mindset of, I don't want her to have that feeling of neglect. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, hey, I don't want her to feel the way I feel. I don't want her to ever have that feeling of, no, my dad wasn't there. Or my dad wasn't there when I needed him. So, ergo, that's why whenever I tell her I'm going to do something, I do it. And if it's ever a point where I can't do it, I communicate that as well.
Yeah.
No broken promises.
See what I'm saying?
You got your word, man.
Bingo.
That's one of the biggest things that you have to do, especially when you're talking about kids. Like, it with me not being a distant parent, so to speak, because my sons were born there, well, most of them born in Atlanta but raised in Mississippi. Like, it was important for me because I wanted my sons to not live a life that I was living at that time. I was living more of a street life, so I didn't want them a part of it. So when it came down to being able to do things for them, the word that you have matters so much, and it still stands to my boys today. They won't do anything. They don't make empty promises. They don't speak random things. If they're going to do something, they're going to do it, and that's partially because if they needed, if they did, when they came to me, we had conversations. It was always, this is what I'm going to do. If I can't do it, my nephew will tell you, as well as my others. If I can't, if you ask me to do something, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do whatever I have to do, break my neck to do it, because at the end of the day, all I got is my word.
That's it. It's the
So,
only thing.
and that's a respect factor. A broken family, no accountability, all these things that makes a man is not being taught. So you go back to the original question, what's wrong with our community? There's no accountability. There's nobody to discipline these kids. There's no reason why a 15-year-old kid should be cussing, fussing, saying all types of random shit in public around elders and with no respect.
Don't even matter if your parents are around.
Don't
Just
matter
don't do it
about
around
your
grown folk.
What's
What's wrong with you?
Like, we was taught growing up that this is how you're supposed to act in public. You show yourself in public. I wish you would show your ass in public to Maggie Buckles. Now, Maggie Buckles has a backhand that still is spot to this day. Like, excuse me, she got a backhand that don't hit now a day of it. I wish you would. I wish you would try something like that with Essie, one of my aunties. I wish you would. Troy, I can run a list of all of them, and it didn't matter whether you was blood or whether you was the uncle, cousin, nephew, son. None of them. Do it while you out with them and think they're gonna check you. There's no respect. There's no reason that you should fear. That we, as men especially, should fear anybody, first and foremost. Because God made you who you are, not to have any inkling of fear in your heart. But to be able to fear, and he said, fear not 300 and some odd times in the Bible, which means he gave you enough fear not to last you every day.
You good.
Every day.
Just look at this about fear. So
fear not. Every day it's 300 plus in the Bible. Fear not. So why are you scared? Why are you scared of this child? That's you. That's you when you was young and a knucklehead. So why are you scared of him? Because that grown man that came to you when you was doing something stupid, he wasn't scared of you. Look, boy, come here. Pull your pants up. Come talk to me. What's wrong with you? Have a seat. You hungry? Here, let me feed you. Get you something to eat. Now, what's wrong with you? Why you out here acting stupid?
So that's how. So let's get to the solution. What's the solution to fixing these problems?
First and foremost, we, being adults, we need to pull our pants up, whether it be physically or literally, both.
Just do both.
Pull your pants up, man up, and pull one of these young kids to the side. Because all they want, I've done it plenty of times. I have a car outside. I ride the bus on purpose to see who God's going to run into my life. So I've done this plenty of times where I'll sit and have random conversations with young men. What's going on, bro? What's going on? Where you heading? Man, I'm finna go hit this trap. They run the whole list down of what's wrong because they want some male to talk to them. And they actually want somebody to put some kind of knowledge in them. They want somebody to birth something inside them. They hungry for knowledge. They hungry for leadership. Tell that young man, hey man, Why you out here in these streets cutting up like this, man? But there's so much out here for you to do. You sell dope, you're a businessman. Take your product, change products,
Apply
and
the
put
same,
it out there.
apply the same thing.
Apply
Apply
the
the same
same
tactics. Same tactics.
Didn't I tell you that you was how old?
It's like 14, 15. It's the same tactics. It's the same thing.
I'm not preaching nothing that I've never
And
said
let,
before.
and parents especially single parents, single moms, especially, let your kids be raised by other members in the community. You're not there all the time. You're just not. You're not gonna be around your kid 24/7. Your kid spends 8 hours a day in school, 8 hours sleep. So the other 8 hours, you probably still at work for 3 of them. So they outside for at least 6 of them. So you probably see them for 2 of them. So
Interact with your children.
And also something else that's missing is today's kids don't fear authority.
because they took
None.
all the authority.
None. Like you said, like we said earlier, you're now not able to discipline your child. But okay,
But the state,
I can't discipline my child, but you have the state trooper that can. You have the
They
city
can.
police officer that can. And furthermore, once my child is in the system, then it becomes where was the parent? What were you doing?
Because they're going to lock you up too if they're underage. They will.
Well, I had to work to provide for this child.
Don't care.
And okay, last time my child did this, I beat the hell out of my child. Y'all came to my house and said I couldn't do it.
that's when you get to.
And then I told you then, okay, well since I can't, you need to take them with you. Oh, you can't? Okay, well y'all won't come back. I'm gonna beat his ass again.
And leave it as
Because I'm sorry, you gotta discipline your kid. I don't care.
Bingo.
I don't care what the government says. You have to discipline your kids.
And disciplining, like you said, ain't just cussing them motherfucker out. Like,
Because
that's
first
crazy.
of all, cussing a kid out is stupid anyway.
That's
Bingo.
crazy.
It doesn't make
That's
sense
crazy.
to cuss out a child. The child doesn't understand all those extra adjectives. They just see that you're angry. They just see that.
Discipline, let's get to one group that we need to expose, so to speak. What is discipline? Because you hit a valid point when you said cussing the kid out. But the kid ain't murdered nothing.
Right.
What is truly discipline? Is discipline whooping your child's ass and locking them in the corner and putting them in the corner and doing all the extra stuff? Or is discipline actually teaching your child?
It is teaching your child responsibility and to be accountable for their actions. If your child, let's say your child writes on the wall or yells and cusses out the teacher, you need to be there to, at least on the phone with the teacher, right there, and telling your child and explaining to your child, yo, we're going to talk when I get to the house. We're going to have this little 5-minute conversation right here, where you're going to see me again, like right when it happens. Teachers have to do stuff like that. You have to, because psychology-wise, it's like when you train a dog. If a dog pees in your house, you're not going to wait 15 minutes to discipline that dog. You're going to do it as soon as the dog do it. You're going to put his nose in there.
Bingo.
You have to do it when it happens. Like if I see,
fresh.
if a child is outside my house, I know their parents not around, but a child outside my house and you're cussing and all that stuff, you need to close your mouth and get from around here, or me and you need to have a conversation. But I'm going to attack that issue when that issue happens.
Bingo.
You have to attack it right then, even if if it's a lecture or extra chores or if it's drastic whoopings. But you sometimes, no matter what you say, you're gonna have to whoop your child. The kid is gonna get really bold after those words stop working. You'll be like, oh, I knew I was gonna have one stupid one. I knew it was just gonna be that one that was gonna make me put that
moment.
That one, and I was gonna have to put. But you have to do that. You have to be able to do that because once that child is in the system, they're in the system. They're gonna recycle your child's name. Your child is gonna be going down the street and one day when they're 18, 19 years old, let's say they smoking a cigarette, they throw the cigarette out in the street. It ain't nothing for a policeman. If he's bored one day, just to mess with him. You can run your name,
Bingo.
give you an extra charge for littering.
Bingo.
Jaywalking tickets are stupid, but they still write them.
Yep.
All you have to do is be in the name and continuously be in the system. They have to just keep writing you citations.
Yep.
They just want to keep seeing you.
Yeah, because again, like you said, like, oh, okay. Oh, Jerome, how you, okay, I see he ain't been in trouble for 2 years. Okay, but here go this citation, literally. Boom.
See you in court.
Thank you for this little extra money.
Right, so here you go, your name is back in rotation. See what I'm saying? So it's a never ending cycle. And you know, again, to get back onto the discipline part, bro, I literally remember when I had to be what, 9, 10. I walked out. I had literally just woke up going to get some cereal. My mom realized I was taller than her. Bro, I came out the kitchen with the bowl. She standing with the broom. She said, "I'll break you down." And I'm looking like,
damn, I just want some cereal.
I made that same mistake. Accidentally getting taller than my mama. I should have never did that.
I'm like, I'm about to go watch cartoons. What are you talking
My
about?
dumb butt stupid for growing.
Right. So I'm like, damn, like this chick really is crazy.
The experience of nagging was
But you know it. But
Bingo.
you knew like, yo,
But
mom's getting me
again,
one day.
That is something that the kids are lacking
Mm-hmm.
in these days and times, because we, again, the age of parenting now is getting younger and younger, and now they have that mentality of, my child didn't do that. I know my child wouldn't do that. No, your child wouldn't do that around you.
Exactly. Your child is smart.
But the minute you close your eyes and walk out that room, this is a completely different person.
Another thing I would say is the mentality of, I want to be my child's friend.
Which is
That part.
That part.
so
I'm
ridiculous.
so anti befriending my sons. I love my boys with every inch of life within me.
They just
But
not
they
that
are not my friends. They know that they are not my friends.
Mm-hmm.
We have, as they've gotten older, the conversations have changed to where it's maybe a little more friendlier, as opposed, like I talk to my homeboy now because you're old enough to understand the things, but reality is I've never talked to my kids.
You can
like
get a
they were
mature
kids.
conversation. You can get a
But
mature
at-
conversation. That's it.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, they understand that I'm dad.
Yeah.
Period.
I'm 29 and my dad 55. I still don't think he's my
That's,
friend.
but that's
Dad was never my
the
friend.
people who have this
Never was.
relationship. They want to have this friend, this best friend relationship with their sons and their daughters. And that blurs the line. And now,
Breaks the chain of command.
when that child no longer respects you because you just like my friend, you my friend, and I told you to go upstairs, but how you playing because you my friend, and now you try to get serious and there's no respect in the house. Now you have a problem because now you got to reestablish your dominance in the house because
And
you
you
pay
dad's
all
not
the
there to
bills.
do that. Daddy's not there to do that.
And daddy's not there to do that.
Like that's what daddy do.
Bingo.
Like my dad didn't have to whoop me. My mom just had to say, "I'm gonna call your dad." Really? You couldn't deal with it?
You couldn't deal with me, though. Dad was the enforcer in the household. I mean, the reality is, my sons, the funny thing about, even with them being in Mississippi, my sons could cut up in school if my mom called me. If she threatened, I'm gonna call your dad.
Tighten up.
From how many miles away is it? 500 miles
It's
away?
good. It's good 5.
500 miles away. Oh, nah, because one thing they did know is Dad kept access to transportation.
Yeah.
So the last thing you want is for me to have to take a 8-hour trip to Mississippi to deal with you.
And you don't know I'm coming.
Don't know, because there's been plenty of days where it's, good morning.
Well,
What did I do?
So a solution, like a major solution to help is to get a communication with the woman. Let's say if you have a child, like get communication with the woman to say, look, I need to establish my fatherhood with my child. Like me and my child need to have a connection because it's best for you as well.
Right. But
Like it's going to benefit you as well. My son or my daughter is not going to choke you while you sleep.
Right. But again, like I said,
Yeah.
like we said before, it still goes back to choosing a person that, you know what I'm saying, you had this child with.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I said, y'all have to be adults about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That part.
But you have folks that, you know, they don't want to give in or give leeway because they feel as though, okay, well, since I gave in, I'm the weaker person. See what I'm saying?
Because apparently, if you're stronger than I have, you must have took some strength from me. So now I got to be weaker. Like you took some of my strength from me.
Bingo. So, like I said,
Control factor.
and again, I use my situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing for my daughter mom to call me and say, hey, you need to come talk to your child. Okay, bet, don't tell them I'm coming. I told her, I said, you know for a fact, it's only 3 reasons why I'm coming to get you. Either it's my time to come and get you, you done fucked up, or daddy just popping up just to pop up.
One of those nice days.
Now, you know my demeanor when I walk through the door. So if I walk through that door, you say, hey daddy, and I just look at you, you fucked up.
Yeah.
And you know I'm about to deal with you.
Well,
Now, what I can say though is, in these 12 years, and it's crazy as it sounds, I've never had to whoop my daughter. Ever.
a lot of times fathers don't have to whoop. Fathers don't usually have to whoop. They just have to discipline.
Bingo. But
Again, that's why discipline and whooping are two different things. Whooping is just a part of discipline. It's one part.
But the most I've ever done,
Not the major part.
like the most I've ever done physically disciplining her was thumping her thigh. She was 2, maybe 3. Because at that time I'm like, okay, you've already been potty trained, you peed on yourself. Boom. That ended that. Right then and there. Boom. That ended that. When I say it ended it, bro, we was downtown at September. I think it was, you remember, it was 4th of July. We was down there to see the fireworks. She had to pee. She's like, Dad, I gotta pee. I took her to the porta potty. She walked in, came right back out. I said, you use the bathroom, boo? She said, no. Okay, come on. We went to the car. I just happened to find the diaper. I put the diaper on her and said, go use it. She said, no. She held that shit till we got to the house. Because she remembered I thumped the hell out of her thigh for peeing on herself.
Well,
And I told her right then, I said, boo, go right in the diaper. We good, we'll change clothes. She, no.
because I remember that time you disciplined me from that one time.
Just that
Psychology.
that
Psychology. That's how psychology plays in.
Like,
if you dealt with it right then, she's going to revert back to it.
Bingo. Like, another example. My cousin was in the bathroom. She had to use the bathroom bag. He didn't come out the bathroom in time enough. She was trying to make it upstairs to the other bathroom. She didn't make it. She went to my mom's room, bawling. Mind you, I'm at work. She's like, what happened? She's like, I peed on myself. First thing I want to say, your daddy gonna get you. It made it worse. So she really started bawling. My cousin ran, he said, Auntie, it's my fault. I didn't come out the bathroom in time. She's like, okay, so look, you had an accident. It's okay. She would not stop crying. My mom called me at work, explained to me. She said, now tell her she's not gonna get in trouble. I had to tell her over the phone, but it's okay. You're not gonna get in trouble. She was like, okay. Got off the phone. My mom said she still cried an additional 30 minutes after that. Like, nope, he gonna get me.
I don't believe him.
Like, but he said no, but he gonna get me.
Crazy. But that's part of discipline.
Bingo, you know what I'm saying? But
it
like I
helps.
said, that's that part that I instilled in her at a young age. And again, now she knows, like, okay, I know his demeanor when he's pissed. I know when, okay, that's my dad, he cool. And I know when he's in playful mode. And she knows what buttons to push, and she knows when I mean business. Hey, chill out. Okay, he being serious. Let me chill.
So now say like the actual solution, like you said, choose who you lay with. Because right now we're just reaping the benefits of past generations. That's what we're dealing with right now. We just have to accept that.
Right.
Because it's not like we're just going to change grown men. It's kind of hard to do that. I can talk to you and tell you what you may need to do, and you have that choice whether or not you're going to listen. So right now, let's say we just talk to the men and try to help them out. And if they listen, they listen. But as far as like the children go, establishing the children, like, yo, understand that sex is a major decision that you're making. Like, you're making a huge choice. So whoever you're laying with, you understand that you have to put it in the back of your head, because I did this. I had to put it in the back of my head, whoever I lay with, that may be the person who has my child. That may be the person who I had to deal with for the rest of my life. So with doing that, I had to establish, even if I'm not with that person is still family. Right. We still have a family bond because this child connects us.
Right.
So we have to establish to the kids, make sure they know, if you create a life, be in that child's life, explain to your partner before y'all even, this child is in the world, we're together. Even if we're not together, we're together on all these decisions that we're making with this child. It's not like I deal with this problem that this child had by myself and you deal with, no, it's that if my child gets into a fight at school and the dad's not there or the mom's not there, then I still tell that parent what happened at the school. And so you still talk to this. A man has to be there to do that. A woman, she can do so much. Women are strong. I love my women, but they can only do so much. So as soon as that family unit is created, then you can branch out in the community. Because as far as you trying to fight every establishment, especially by yourself without getting any knowledge of it, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose without having a strong moral background, actual values, knowledge of each and every situation. Like when I was a kid, my dad and my mom, they gave us an African American encyclopedia set. Read that. That was the craziest thing I ever read in my life. I was like, man, black people, we did a lot. Like we did a lot. So it's one of those things that I learned how to love my skin and love my community. And I was taught love by my family. And I grew up in a community like where you'll still get whooped. Even though I grew up as a 90s kid, you'll still get whooped by your neighbor. Your neighbor will still discipline you. Your teachers, my parents, especially my mom said, yo, if he does something in school, you snatch him up.
With his ass.
Like, get him. Like, get him. But we have to get back to that because not raising your kids, not disciplining your kids, teaching your kids, like even down to teaching your kids how to hate or be scared of the police. That doesn't make sense. Teach your kids how to be a cop one day. Right. Teach him how to want to do that so he can protect and police the community. Right. Like we have to attack these situations, these issues like one by one. But at first we have to take care of the family and the community.
Now, but before we can take care of the family and the community, one, we as men, bro, and I see this shit a lot, we have to stop dogging out our women.
That's not even just as a black man, but that's just as a man, we hold so much weight on our shoulders. Right. Now let's add the element of being black. Menace to society, what's the most dangerous thing in the world? What's the most dangerous thing to America? Young, black, and educated. Yeah. I'm sorry, that's not what he said. He said young, black, and just don't give a fuck. But you add educated to that. Now, you have a black man that has a future because he has direction. There is nothing, and there has never been any obstacle that's been put in front of us as a culture that we have not overcome. We are the strongest, and we're here for a reason. Yeah, I'm not going to go to the whole Hebrew Israelites and all of the other stuff. No, we are here.
That's another show right there.
We are here for a reason, though. We've stood the test of time where other races have basically been completely obliterated, dealing with what we've dealt with.
Yeah.
And we've stood here. We're still here. We're still here bearing the burden of everything. But yet and still, if I walk down the street, just like you said, instead of raising your kids to be scared of police, raising to be a cop. Yeah. I walk down the street and I'm supposed to be scared of this cop. They want you to be scared of the overseer. But you're just a man. You put your pants on like me.
You just flesh.
You flesh. You just and 9 times out of 10, if I talk to this officer, whether it be black, white, or whatever, he gonna talk back and we can laugh, joke. I've done it.
Because it's just a job. He didn't do nothing but clock in.
No.
Bingo.
I mean, and the reality of that part is half the people, the few officers that's doing all the bad stuff are only a very, very, very small